Welcome back to the Football Terrace. We are live at Unit 7, the home of TFT, for another top 6 live debate tonight. Now, we are looking at the player of the season. My esteemed panel are going to be giving you their thoughts, their feelings on who they think deserves it. But you, the viewers, get to pick. The player with the most super chats will be crowned the king of this campaign live tonight on the Football Terrace. Now, let me introduce my panel to you. To my right, we are joined by Man Like Ram. Montz is here as well. How you doing, boys?
I'm good.
Good, man.
Good, very good.
Ready
good.
for this?
Yeah,
Ready for this?
Jurgen quad to you all too.
There we go. And to my left, Colleen is back with us as well. And Casey, I remember, Casey?
That's it.
I've got the name
you
right.
Got it right. You got it right.
I said it and then I shit myself. I thought I got it right. Welcome to first time for yourselves. From Big Six Bants as well.
Thank you for having me, man.
Regular on the channel. Now, how are you both?
I'm good.
I'm doing well, man. About to stir it up, you know.
Absolutely, absolutely. And viewers, we want to know who you think should be the player of the season. We'll throw all their names into the hat. I already know who these people are picking. Also, we've got a little QR code down there for you as well. 40% off Boohoo menswear using promo code TFT. But download the app using that code now. Just scan it. I know a lot of you watch on TV, so it's easier to do. Big up to everyone in the comments. We will be reading them out as best we can. I see what you're saying there already. That was a nice one here, Colleen, with heart emojis in the eyes.
Obviously. I'm warming to you guys.
Simping ain't easy. Simping ain't easy. That's what we've got to say. But where do we start? Oh, do you know what I want to do? Audience, throw us some names. Throw us some names live on the air. Because there's a few names I want to throw out there before we get to like the real contenders. The first one I want to speak about. So it's a weird comment I'm reading here. It says, Terry tries to show off when he's with people in that studio. You're acting like I don't show off at home when I'm by myself. Anybody that sits in front of a camera for a living is a show-off. We all are. Otherwise, we wouldn't do it. Every singer, every comedian, every YouTuber, we're all show-offs. Deal with it.
Especially with that frame Karate
I think
Kid
if you
photo.
guys were doing what Terry was doing, you'd be showing off too.
Yeah.
Damn right.
Especially with that frame Karate Kid photo. You know what I'm saying?
Balling, bruv. That cost me £52.
Big money, man. Big money.
It's probably worth more money now since Cobra Kai came out. But there we go. First name I want to throw out there. And if you guys don't want to discuss it, you just think, nah, it's literally, it ain't it. Bernardo Silva.
No. I feel like his recent form is what kinda is bringing me away from that conversation. If we said this about a month, maybe a month and a half
Recency
ago.
bias then.
Yeah, but you have to include it because recency bias is there.
I don't know. I think he should still be in the conversation. I think when it comes to, of course, everyone can say a player from Liverpool, Man City, just because they're in the mix to winning the treble.
We're the best.
The quad asterisk there. We'll see, but it will be. I think, to be honest with you, where we can make a prediction now or say who we think at this point. But I personally feel like if it's between a Man City and a Liverpool player, it will be the one who delivers the treble or the quad. At this point, if say for instance Liverpool, say in your case, say if we went for, do you know what? Let me say Man City. Let me not come for something too early on. Say if City only win like the FA Cup or something, you know, no one's going to be talking about. So I think he's a great player. But I think when it comes to Liverpool and Man City teams, it's whoever's going to lead their teams to
the big ones.
And we're not even just talking about just the league or the Champions League. We're talking about trebles here. I think it's a different level when we're talking about Man City and Liverpool players because there's just so much more at stake. So I wouldn't discount him. But if City just walk away with FA Cup, I think he kind of goes under the radar a bit more. But I think he's had a great season.
Yeah, I agree.
I think what the misconception is that because he stopped scoring goals, he stopped performing. He's still performing to a very high level. It's just that he's not putting the ball in the back of the net. And he has missed a few sitters as well. I think if he scores the goal, if he scores against, who did they draw against just the other day?
Crystal Palace.
If he scores against Palace, I think everyone.
That's the difference for these teams. That's what we.
Everyone goes back.
That's the standards you lot have set yourself.
He goes in there. Silva's there, but again, he was never naturally a goal scorer anyway. So now all of a sudden, why are we expecting goals from Bernardo Silva? I don't know. For me, he's definitely in the conversation.
Yeah.
I think eye test wise, I know Terry doesn't like talking about it, but he sort of passes it in a sense, the way he moves with the ball, but also he glides with it, but also he fits the, I wouldn't say stats test, but the passion test. The guy is he's like a Terry, you know what I mean? He just keeps on going one place to another. He's always he's like a gnat. You won't get rid of him.
Yeah.
I don't have an issue with Bernardo Silva's eye test being discussed because he delivers as well.
Oh,
Yeah.
What I have an issue with is if you were just saying, like, if he didn't score, if he didn't assist, if he didn't influence games, if he had poor performances but looked good, that's all my issue is that eye test merchants bother me, not because they like very good players who look good. It's when they rate players that, like when people tell me like Adama Traore is one of the best wingers in the league because he looks good at dribbling.
Yeah.
Like, get out of here, you don't know ball. Like Bernardo Silva, of course his eye test is important.
Yeah.
That's their go-to, by the way. Eye test merchants say you don't know ball.
Exactly.
That is their
Yeah.
go-to.
It's the weakest argument in the world. It's a weak man's argument. And I think we all kind of know that as well. But yeah, look, I think Bernardo Silva is definitely in that mix. Viewers,
That's a good shout, to be fair.
he's there. Another one a lot of viewers are throwing in here, and I can see these live comments pummeling through. They're saying both Thiago Silva and Rudiger. Both those names are coming out. Rudiger and Thiago Silva.
Combined. Yeah, I hear the Thiago. Definitely hear the Thiago Silva.
I don't hear the
Because-
Rudiger.
Fusion hard just to make it easier for Chelsea agenda. Nah, I'm not feeling
No, I wouldn't put them together. I would singly put Thiago Silva over Rudiger
Yeah,
personally. I
for
might be a
sure.
bit
Yeah.
unbiased. That might be a bit
Can
against
someone
what
get
everyone's
Chelsea's
saying.
defensive record, please? Can someone get that up?
Oh, yeah,
Someone
look,
fact check
Because
that?
I'm not going to do stats with defenders. I don't really like to do
No,
that.
no,
How
no,
many?
I don't-
clean sheets and
They-
those
I'm
type
just
of
saying
things.
they play free at the back, and
Mm.
they are defensive gods. We've spoken about in the two previous videos. They're defensive gods, but I'm pretty sure they have the third best defensive record in the league. I know Mendy has the same clean sheets as Ali, but
No,
I'm
he
talking
doesn't.
about-
He's got 11. He's got 11.
Oh, no.
He has less than Ramsdale.
Oh,
But anyway,
So, well, you guys are just strengthening my point. I tried just strengthening my point. So, if these men are so godlike, why is their defensive record the third best in the league?
no, because I'm not comparing them like to Van Dijk and these lot here. Thiago Silva, right? When he came in solely for, I feel like, to give experience to the younger defenders and to kind of drop in every now and then and just bring a steady performance. He's exceeded what I thought he was going to do. Thiago Silva's, in my opinion, their best defender when he's playing.
Yeah, I agree.
He looks the best on the ball. He looks the most comfortable. He doesn't speak English that well, but can still guide the team and lead the team at the back. Like he's doing more than I expected, and that's what I'm looking at when I go for my player of the season. It's about what I thought they were going to do and what they're doing now.
I hear the shout for Thiago Silva, and people will say it's an agenda thing, but I don't rate Rudiger. I really don't rate Rudiger.
He's hard, man.
Like no,
hard, though.
no.
I'm kind of with you a little bit there.
Look,
I'm not saying maybe not as hard as
If
you.
he
but
played for you, man would not.
That-
If he played for you, if he played for Arsenal and if he played for Liverpool,
no.
I think he's just
no.
a better Romero, a bit
No.
more, bit aggression,
He's a
bit unorthodox.
Casey. He's a thug. He's literally a
Oh my
thug.
gosh.
I might call them out.
I'm back called him a fuck.
After I saw that challenge against Lamptey, where he could have snapped him in half.
Yeah.
Little Lamptey snapped in half. I'm like, bro, no, you're.
Don't mention Lamptey's name on here. You were set off the comments. You were set off the
Yeah,
comments.
you are like a slimmer version. Slim.
Lamptey.
Oh my god!
Taller.
You're getting it now. You're getting it. Tariq.
God.
Yeah, but after that challenge, I'm like, bro, you're just here just to buck up, man. You're not here just to play football, you know.
He's a good defender, but I think Thiago Silva.
I think if he plays for Arsenal, he's your best defender. I think if he plays for
No,
Liverpool, he
no,
can come in, definitely come in
no.
and play over Konate
Rudiger.
and Joe
Rudiger.
Gomez.
No,
No, I don't.
Back four.
He'll
Is
probably
Gabriel
be.
better
He'll
than
probably
Rudiger?
be my best defender, but it's not by a landslide.
no, I don't even think.
It's not by a landslide. I wouldn't say he's much better than Gabriel
He's-
individually.
I think- listen, even okay, what is it that you lot don't rate about Rudiger? I personally want
He's
to know.
rash. His main thing is that he's rash. He reminds me.
Yeah,
a
that's
lot
the
of- he
that's the
reminds
main
me-
thing
I
with
think
me.
Rash at the right moment and barely gets punished for it.
But he reminds me a lot of Jamie Carragher. And people like to say Jamie Carragher wasn't a great defender. I think he was a good defender.
Good
Not as good as Sammy Hupia, obviously, but he just gives me those vibes. And he's just so rash. And I feel as though,
The best defenders make defender look easy.
like, you don't like.
If we're honest.
I can't like shithousery defenders.
No,
you
but
need it.
No, Casey,
need
it. He's part of
the
what?
best defenders don't get their hands dirty. Like,
Rudiger
I think
comes off.
I think that's a
the
preference,
whole
not a
pitch.
fact.
like,
That's
I'll
a
go.
preference,
I'll
not
go
a
back
fact.
to Terry's.
I think that's
day,
why
like,
I prefer Thiago. But that's not me saying
That's
that I
a-
don't rate Rudiger. I just don't think. I think Thiago's a level above him in my opinion. But
yeah.
No.
Oh,
That's
for
what I'm
sure.
saying.
I think Thiago Silva's better, but I think to say that defenders don't get their hands dirty, I think that's a preference over a fact. It's like people saying I prefer Neymar's dribbling to I don't know who has a
No, but
messy
even-
dribbling style. He has like an ugly dribbling style. It's
Mane.
very effective.
Money.
Yeah, probably Mane
Literally.
at times. So it's like to say I prefer someone else's dribbling because it looks nicer. It's
Yeah,
preference.
I hear that.
In my opinion.
I hear that.
I think Rudiger, I know where you're coming from with this, like, he doesn't look clean and tidy and he jumps into tackles. Look, people always quote Maldini, and I know you love Maldini with this whole, if I had to make a tackle, it's because I already made a mistake. I think people are taking that so
Literally, yeah.
They're taking it so literally. It's almost one of them things. I think somebody once said about Ryan Giggs that he was such a good player, it made them cry. I don't think the person really cried. I think they're exaggerating to say how great they were. And I think that Rudiger defends the way he defends. He's got that shithousery. He's got that nasty side to him. But it works,
Maybe that's why I hate him. Maybe that's why I hate him.
It's
Is that shit?
Rams,
like a
who would
Diego
you- yeah.
Costa.
Who would you rather play against? Who would you rather play against? Rudiger or Thiago Silva?
Rudiger.
I'd rather play against
I can't-
Thiago. I can't have this guy grabbing me, kicking me,
The
dropping
The reason why
I'm getting with
dunking
this-
me.
The reason why I'd say Thiago, I wouldn't play against Thiago because Thiago Silva has the mentality to say, if there's a situation where he thinks marking me would not be the best option and marking a pass that would be a potential goal, it'll be a lot difficult. You know what I mean? I think Rudiger's the kind of guy that gets to you. And so a player like maybe a Luis Diaz or Bukayo Saka or Martinelli will play that ball, inch perfect ball right there towards someone. I think Thiago Silva would read that, but Rudiger doesn't.
Yeah,
It's just those small
I think
margins.
Rudiger's a lot more reliant on his physical attributes more than his defending attributes, and it shows in games sometimes. Some of these challenges he does, I think he just gets away with it because it's Rudiger. A lot of these challenges,
a bit like Rojo.
a lot of these challenges
Oh my God,
deserve
yeah.
a yellow. I've seen Rudiger get away with yellow card challenges.
Yeah, it's the dark arts, the skullduggery of football. That not
And maybe
everyone
maybe
really
he's mastered that. Maybe he's mastered that.
And I don't think I think it's actually something that more teams and play. And what I will call you out though on a Liverpool fan is, I remember you and other Liverpool fans celebrating when Fabinho smashed down James a few years ago. It was the trending clip on all the big Liverpool accounts, and you guys celebrated it. This is what I find with football fans. When it's someone that's a rival or they do the shithousery to you, you call them scum. You've got Robertson in your team. He's one of the biggest shithouses in the world.
I hate
I know
that.
you get that, but that
where
that
Messi's
isn't a
head.
reason for
That's
somebody
where
to
Messi's
not be
head
considered
piece.
for player of the
No,
year.
but
That's just you being weak.
But that kind of stuff, I'm like, you don't need to do that. Why do you need to
Yes,
go
you
in and
do.
smash? I don't love that. I don't like that.
It's part
That's
of
why you've
winning.
never
It's
been
part of
any
winning
good at sport.
football.
Fernandinho.
I don't love
Fernandinho
that.
is the king. He's the king. He is the king.
That's the thing is, if they're on your team,
Yeah,
like it's like that's,
It's all
that's
day
the reason
long.
why I hated Diego Costa for a long time.
Yeah.
It's because
But you'd want him.
he loved
If he
him,
played for your
obviously.
team, you'll be
I
like,
love
But
it.
like in his Chelsea days, so it's like it's that
Stamping on
kind of
man's
thing.
toes and things like that.
You
Yeah,
hate it if
no,
you're in
no,
opposition, but if
no.
it's for you, you're like, yeah, like it's all old school. Yeah, that's what
No,
you're
but
like. Yeah.
Football's not always
But-
a talent-based and technique-based game. It's a
But
mental
people-
game as well.
But
Yeah.
you also have to read people like Fabinho and Fernandinho. They also defend incredibly. Like even when you think they're going to commit a foul, they end up getting the ball. That's why they're world-class players. For me, I don't think Rudiger has those capabilities. And I think, in my opinion, I think Thiago Silva has been a level above Rudiger for
yeah,
Chelsea.
definitely. I
For
believe
Chelsea.
that as well.
I think without Thiago Silva in that team, Chelsea, I don't think Chelsea would be where they are. I think that the gap between Arsenal and Chelsea would be very, very tight. But I think it's only about 5 points. So I think it might be 1 point, in my opinion. So I rate Thiago Silva highly, more than Rudiger. It might be an agenda, but I don't care.
I know what you're saying, and I think this is just a silly conversation because one's 37 and one's like 31. How old is Rudiger?
28.
28. He's
So,
28.
yeah.
Yeah, and one's 30. There's a 9-year difference. They're both great defenders, but they're not getting in this conversation.
Yeah.
In terms of defenders this year, we've got a comment here from Zota Stevens who says Joel Matip.
Yes.
Yes.
He surprised me.
Joel.
It hurts me
Joel.
to say he has surprised me. I thought, do you know what? I always thought that it was just Van Dijk and slap me there, and I'm a world-class defender. So, but Matip has really stepped up this season. I've seen some big performances a few goals, but I don't really care about the
Not
goals.
even just
To
on
be
the
fair,
defense, not even as like a
He drives forward.
Yeah.
Yeah, he plays.
he's
he
doing
just
a lot.
turns
Not
into
gonna
a
He's
lie.
center.
added. He's
He
added a
turns into
lot to
center
his
back.
game. Yeah, he's added a lot
he
to
moves
his
like
game.
he moves like Beckenbauer. Not gonna
See,
lie.
but it's just on the
Them
box line.
clips of
You
him
know
just
when
running
he
through the whole pitch. It's just like it's so
People hate
bad.
me for this. Like when he goes on his mazy runs, it reminds me of like that Kanu for Arsenal. You know,
Bro, just bare long, and just.
Kanu's just bare limbs. But he was just mad techie with it. Like, I don't think I've ever
It's
seen
them
anyone.
long legs as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like maybe a young Adebayor or a young Yaya Toure. You don't see man big like that, or
Yeah.
maybe
Driving
Ibra
like that.
that are big like that and just move so eloquently on the ball.
And he's done it a few times.
like
It
a
wasn't a
gazelle.
one-off.
Yeah.
You know? He's done
Does it a few times
games.
every game as
Every-
well.
Yeah, every time I watch him do it, I'm like, he's gonna make a mistake now, and it just
Like
doesn't- it doesn't happen. It just
even
doesn't
the
happen.
Yeah, 'cause
even the crowd on Anfield, they expect him to just they're like just go ahead and just run.
Yeah,
run,
yeah.
run at the
Just-
defense.
Fun fact: he is taller than Van Dijk. He's 6'6".
Yeah,
Yeah.
Matip is huge.
Matip he's a tree. He is
Yeah.
Groot.
Yeah,
He
he's
is
a
Groot.
Groot.
Yeah,
He is Groot.
He has been very, very good indeed. In terms of the poll as it stands right now, so because of those super chats, Matip's currently in the player of the season position. In second place is Rudiger, because there's a super chat for him as well. There's been another super chat here that I want to read out. It's from Aidan Andrews, who says, why
Pick him
is
up.
KC on here? Big up, Moss. So,
Hey, the these man are on
Hey,
me.
Aiden, pick you up, pick you up.
Hey,
Hashtag.
Hey, Aiden, I'm here to stay. I'm here to stay.
Can I say as well? I
Ooh.
think with the Matip thing, what I'm scared. I don't want people to do is just act like Matip has just become this good defender today or this season. Matip has been capable of these performances. His fitness has just been terrible. And let's be honest, 90% of the Liverpool fan base, and yes, 90% of the Liverpool fan base wanted him gone last season.
Because of the fitness.
Yeah, because of the fitness.
Yeah.
Because of the fitness. Did I want him gone?
Yes.
After
Yes. Let's not do that. Let's not do under
No, but
10%.
After the fourth defeat at Anfield, I switched
No,
sides.
but Mons, it's not. I think Terry did a stream with I think one of the journalists that's centered in Africa. That he was talking about Matip thinking, I think I should go because of the intensity of Klopp's game. And we were like, if you can't take the intensity, then no matter how great a defender you are, we just can't rely on you for title challenges.
And he hasn't been reliable.
Exactly
It's been
until
so- yeah,
now.
like- and that's why I think it's very unfortunate for someone like Joe Gomez, who, when fit, was an unbelievable centre back next to
Oh,
Van
he's an
Dijk.
England-
and then Matip's
England
just kind of
international.
gone, I'll take my spot back. Thank you. You know what I mean? I think I'll just take that back. So I think Matip has a very, very strong shot. But let's be real. He did have a very wobbly February, and the end of January was very wobbly for Matip in Europe.
Patches.
And Nah, he was wobbly.
Patches
was wobbly.
within games. That's what I
Nah,
meant.
for me, it was wobbly. I'm not gonna
Sugar.
I'm not gonna dash the pixie dust on it. He was wobbly. He was making mistakes. I don't know what was going on. And let's be honest, since mid to late December, Virgil van Dijk has been virtually impenetrable, vibranium, whatever you want to call it, adamantium,
even
whatever you want to call
100%.
it. So I think even though Matip has, I think maybe just edges it between him and Van Dijk, I think Van Dijk
Deserves a shout.
He may very well do. In terms of some of the other nominees that are on here, I've got to come to you on this one, Ram, because you threw this one into the mix. You've thrown in Allison, your goalkeeper.
Yes, I did. And now people will think
There's a siren. Come and pick you up.
look, everyone knows Ali's my guy. Ali's of everyone in Liverpool football, he's my favorite footballer, even though he's a goalkeeper. I don't care what anyone thinks. But this season, if you're talking about consistency wise, he's been the most consistent out of everyone. I think there have been times where he's had some shaky moments. The only, I think, shaky game he's actually had was against West Ham. Everywhere else, and possibly Aston Villa, but everything else, the Leicester game, he barely had anything to do. It's just a great shot for Ademola Lookman that deceived him. And I think that's pretty much it. Everything else was a solid 7.
He should have saved that shot.
He should have saved. He could have saved it, but I think defensively wise, you should have done better.
Yeah.
But
I get your point, right? But has he done more for your team this season than Matip, than Van Dijk, than Trent, than Fabinho, than Mo Salah, I'm sure, is going to come up later. Has he done in Europe? He's been better than all those players for Liverpool.
Arguably, yes. In certain games, he has saved our arses.
Quite a lot of games, actually.
A lot
You
of
do
games.
take it in,
Like Burnley home and away, it could have been 2-0 at the first 20 minutes.
Palace.
It could have. Palace home and away. It could have.
Arsenal.
Palace, Arsenal, Leicester at home. Like, there's so many games where I could list off the palm of my hands. Even the Champions League, Atletico Madrid got man of the match. And we should have been, I mean, it was a disgrace of a defensive performance from us. And we still ended up winning somehow. AC Milan away.
Tottenham, he made some.
Tottenham away. Even when we drew, it should have been 4 or 5-0.
They wanted to slander Ali for that miss when
exactly
it was a brilliant save.
He's
hold tight, Dele.
And Terry, you like to talk about how you love to watch Liverpool games because it's so entertaining, because the other side has chances. If that's the case, then whenever they've had a chance, it's either they've missed it or Allison saved it. And more times or not, it's Allison saving it rather than them missing. Even West Ham at home, we talk about the Lanzini miss. Ben Rama had a shot a goal and Allison saved it. There's been so many times where I know a goalkeeper's like performance is not looked as highly upon as a striker because he don't score the goals, but saving a potential goal is just as good as scoring a goal, in my opinion.
And that's a big shout, viewers. Look, he's been put onto the list. He's currently sitting there in 3rd place. If you think Allison deserves that Player of the Year award, get your super chats in now. Currently, Matip top of the pile with 5 of your British pounds on his name. And we already mentioned Bernardo Silva earlier as well. We'll put him in 5th place because no one even in the crowd really cheered too much for him. A lot of people supporting you there though in the comments. To be honest, Ram saying, Samuel here says Allison best in the league. Nathaniel though says Mendy is clear.
I mean, I don't like to use stats, but the stats show he's got more clean sheets, got round about the same amount of saves. But Mendy distribution-wise, I think we can all agree Allison trumps him on that.
Yeah.
I think the only thing he beats him is probably shot stopping, but only by so little.
Yeah.
So little. Because
I think it's because of that Brentford performance
exactly
that will give him that edge.
Exactly.
Other than that.
So world-class performances against Brentford is the difference these days.
Yeah, for good keepers, it is the difference.
And I think
it's
also the recency bias because he's obviously won AFCON for Senegal and he's won Champions League, which I know Allison did that in his first season. Senegal. Whatever.
Senegal.
But Allison did that in his first season, won Copa America, and he's won the Champions League and won Goalkeeper of the Year. So he's done all that,
and he scored a header.
Exactly, and he scored a header, and he's got an assist this season.
I'll never let it die.
He's got an assist this season.
I think he had more GA than Sancho at one point.
Oh, stop.
Listen. It's an interesting one. I'm going to go to the Arsenal crew.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen a few gooners suggest this. Someone here says, Terry, it's not a fair panel. Yeah, Daniel was meant to be here from a Chelsea point of view tonight. He didn't turn up.
He bottled it.
So I can't help if people don't arrive at the studio.
No, but Terry, he was meant to challenge me on the Allison, and he bottled
He's
it.
not here. There's nothing I can do, Hamza. But the viewers, you control the narrative tonight. You control it with them super chats. Matip currently top on £7. But Arsenal
next
here.
one they're going to agree with.
Now, Arsenal here. Martin Odegaard.
He gets a shout, but I don't know if he's player of the season, but he's definitely an honourable mention.
Do you think there is an Arsenal player that should be considered player of the year?
Of course.
Ramsdale.
No.
Not Ramsdale.
Ramsdale's another honourable mention. It's Bukayo Saka. Like, we have to put context into it. And let me explain my point. He's just come off the back of the whole country, the whole country being on his back. Oh, you missed the penalty, we're out the Euros, all that rubbish, right? And for such a young player to hold that responsibility on his shoulders, I thought was mad to begin with. But he done it. All the abuse, all the racial abuse. He's come through it, got in his Arsenal, and people are already on his back about him not getting GA in the league. Arsenal fans included, everyone saying, oh, he doesn't score enough goals. He gets into these chances. He's always fluffing it. All of this rubbish, right? He's come into this season, right? A pressurized season, but for a different reason. Because we just come 8th. We had all these new signings. There was expectations for us to kind of kick on, hopefully get into Europe.
In Europe.
Yeah, but that's irrelevant because we
course
spent
it's
young. We spent young. It's
So,
it's a
men's
rebuilding
football.
project.
It's men's football.
It's a rebuilding project. So us spending the most money in Europe, cool, but we bought 6 players in
But when Man U do it, it's a crime for every time.
Man, you spend 90 million on a player, 80 million on a player. That's
you
what they
spent
would do
150 million. I'm just saying
on,
you spent
on 6 players.
listen, I know what you're saying. You spent young, but A, it's men's football, and B, spending money does.
So what does
Bro, you spent the most in Europe. Let's not act like that's irrelevant. It's not irrelevant. There's context to it, but it's not irrelevant.
okay, it's not irrelevant, but there's context to it, like you said. So my point is, Saka's come in, right? Not only is he blown my expectations, I didn't expect him to do this well, if I'm very honest. He has taken that England disappointment and just used that as energy to kick on this season. There's games when I've seen him take Arsenal on his backpack, right? And just ram with it. And he, for me, has to be in a shout for player of the season, you know? What's he on now? I think it's 9 goals in the league, 5 assists. He's doing his thing, man.
Maybe-
At such a young age.
Maybe young player of the season.
And he could get in.
Yeah,
he could get us.
Young
He could get
player.
us to top 4 because Arsenal's expectations was never top 4, right? Liverpool, and we're gonna get onto Salah probably later, but Liverpool were always gonna be, you know, in and amongst trying to fight for the title.
Wow.
Yeah, you was always gonna be there and thereabouts, right? Salah was always a top player. He was always going to score goals. He's won the Golden Boot before. So the expectation for Salah to do well was always there. Saka was never really there. And he's exceeded what people have thought he's going to do. And he could potentially be a main reason as to why we get top 4. I think he definitely has to be.
He will be when you get top 4. I'm going to ask you a few questions. So my first question to you is, what is harder, consistency or defying the odds just the one time?
Depends, because you have to talk about age. Salah's in his prime.
It's men's football.
Salah's in his prime. Regardless of whether it's men's
What
football.
is different? What is more difficult? Do you look at the one season wonders or do you look at longevity in Ronaldo and Messi?
Obviously, the longevity.
So first, as I said, like similar to the chat we had on BSB, I think obviously what Saka's done is defied expectations, similar to Aaron Ramsdale, which is why I think he has a shout. That's just in my opinion. Might be a slight contradiction, but I understand where the shout comes from. I just feel like when you talk about Liverpool, you know, we expected them to do things. They have this squad. They have all these players. Again, it's fun. It's all fun and, you know, games saying that we expect Liverpool to this and that. But at the start of the season, it was a 4-horse race and most people had us in 4th.
Not me personally,
Some
but I hear
people
your
fifth.
point.
Do you know what I'm saying? People were saying Man United were going to finish above us. Chelsea were going to finish above us and City were going to go and win the league. So are we doing what we're supposed to be doing or have we defied expectations?
I don't think you defied expectations because your fan base never really thought that you was going to be.
That's but I
like
thought we can't. Our opinions in that.
I'm going off my opinion. Arsenal fans never thought we was going to make top.
Terry, did you have us challenging for the title?
Liverpool.
Yeah. Start of the season.
Not the start of the
No,
season.
I didn't. I said that you'd make top 4 comfortably, but I didn't think your squad was good enough to challenge the top 4.
A bit
You
like
think we was going to challenge for the title? Honestly,
I thought you'd probably finish 3rd. To be honest with you.
they.
Yeah, I didn't have you winning the title.
But this is what I mean about.
But that's not really defying expectations, though, really, because you could
def-
still
we're-
not
yeah,
win the
we're
title.
exceeding the expectation.
we're
Second, and I put you as third.
We're exceeding expectations because people didn't have us even challenging for the title. Comfortably top 4. 3rd, that's not challenging. We are challenging for all 4 trophies on the full
That's
front.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
People had us not making Europe
So
again.
is that your argument for Saka?
But that's what I'm saying.
The shout.
But-
Yeah,
So I
because
disagree. I disagree.
Thank you. Like literally.
Even your
It's
own man
men's
is
football.
back
But
on
mine
you.
might be a bit different. Because the way I judge player of the season is, I think that player. Oh my God, I feel like I'm going to get a lot of hate for this, but I think it needs to be a player who is. I don't think it should be a player who's literally carrying a team just because everyone else around him is crap or there's no depth in the team and he's
Hallelujah.
making be able to stand out. And in all honesty, in Saka's position, that kind of is the case.
Mhm.
And that's not to say Saka isn't a great player. I think so you've got the top players in Arsenal, since we're talking about Arsenal, Saka, Rudiger, and Ramsdale, are probably the ones that you might give a shout.
Not Martinelli.
Just for the sake of example.
Okay.
The
Yeah.
ones that you might say, oh, they've been player of the season. I think, yeah, for Arsenal. But in the grand scheme of the league and what we could achieve in comparison to their peers who are also within a shout, I don't think an Arsenal player gets in that conversation.
I think
There's levels to it.
I think Saka's great, and I think he could probably make it as the great, like young player of the
Oh,
season.
definitely.
100%.
There's no one there.
But I'm not even trying to say he's not even at that level. He's banging on the door of that level. But in terms of what we're trying to achieve, what the depth in and around him, the competition around him in that Arsenal squad, and then compare it to, you know, the shouts of players that you've all mentioned already, and some of the comments I've already mentioned. I just don't think an Arsenal player gets that shout. Just because we're bringing Arsenal back to where they should be.
Yeah.
I don't think that's enough.
Casey, your criteria that you said about he performed in the big moments and everything like that. I know. You know what? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he's performed when other people haven't.
Yeah.
That sort of criteria for me fits with the young player of the year mode, because young player of the year allows them to get that little bit of inconsistency. Where player of the season, there's no room for error. You have to have like one or two games that are off.
Yeah.
To have a shout.
You can't even get injured.
Exactly.
You can't even get injured.
You can't get injured. You cannot get injured.
I hear it.
It's just those small margins. I hear it for young player of the season. Saka's been tremendous for Arsenal.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I think those players have been great.
Yeah.
For Arsenal, but then in the wider scope of the league, I don't think they
like Leroy Sané won young player of the season and the reason why he wasn't nominated for player of the season, even though he was fantastic, was because of those little inconsistencies where he just didn't perform.
And they still won the league.
And they still won the league. He was still fantastic that season. And I think Saka's in that same.
I think if you really want to throw Saka in, and then we have to start thinking, well, my next nominee, or not even, I'd just say honourable mention is Jarrod Bowen.
Oh,
because
English Iron Robin.
I think that
along that kind of criteria.
Yeah, when Saka, same sort of thing with Saka, West Ham, no one expected West Ham to do what they're doing.
Yeah.
David Moyes isn't the most glamorized manager in the world. And let's be honest, they kind of have that Everton mode where they do actually spend money, but it never quite works.
You know where it goes. Yeah. You're like, where did that 100
you're just burning, you're burning hundreds. Like you're burning hundreds. So, but unfortunately, Jarrod Bowen has sustained the
I do need to just interject really quickly, because we've obviously been filming all evening. Italy lost to North Macedonia and are not going to the World Cup.
No.
What?
No.
They lost 1-0 to North Macedonia.
What's their starting 11?
I don't know. I can look.
Please get the starting 11.
Because I remember.
Lord have mercy.
Because I remember Chiesa was so important for
So
Italy
one sec.
during
So
that game.
Donnarumma started in goal. At the back started Mancini, Bastoni, Emerson, Florenzi. In the middle it was Barella, Jorginho, Verratti.
Oh.
Up front, the starting attackers were Insignia, Immobile, and Berardi. And who came on? They brought on Pellegrini. They brought on Chiellini. They brought on Tonelli. They brought on João Pedro and Raspadori.
What about Locatelli? Locatelli injured? What's going on with Locatelli?
Locatelli. He's not in the team at all. He's not in the team at all.
They didn't
Either way,
They should be beating North Macedonia.
North Macedonia. So they're out.
It's coming, bro. It's coming. I mean, listen, I'm not hearing about it.
There we go. We have some super chats here I want to go to. Micah here said Stones, Silva, Matip, best 3 centre backs this season in the league.
Jonathan Stones.
Jonathan Stones.
Esquire the third, fourth of his name. Are you serious? Are you
not Stones?
Thank you very much for the super chat.
Yeah, like love, but yeah,
we
have to push that one.
Naz here says Rudy Germ Digger. Rudiger. Okay, Rudy Germ Digger. Rudiger. Rudiger is the best by far. That's another £2 on his name. So he's now just £3 away from taking over Matip as a player of the season. If you keep it coming. Aiden here says, was Saka that good before Christmas?
He says, and
Camsdow is meaty.
That's what I'm saying.
Look, I'm all for. Look, I started the whole Ramsbottom thing. Like I called him Ramsbottom for a reason. But let's allow the shade, man. He's actually performed very well.
Because it's not just I don't just when I look at Ramsdale, I'm not just looking at how many clean sheets he has and comparing him in terms of clean sheets. He's come and brought a different type of leadership. He connects with the fans. He always talking and commanding his back line, always vocal.
Those kind of shouts though, he's coming in he's coming like for Ramsdale and Saka. It's because they're coming into a team that is similar to like what you mentioned with Bowen with West Ham. It's they're coming to a team that's not there.
I'm seeing your criteria for player of the season. It's just not, as I said.
But you know what? It's because
Because
it's
things are
easy
bad
to give it to
before.
players like Salah,
No,
who scored
it's
20
what I
goals.
mean.
That's great.
But it's not
you're
easy.
a ready-made
the
team.
hardest thing
You're
to do what
already
they're doing.
made team.
I think it was
I
easy
don't.
for Ramsdale to come in and perform in terms of
I don't think it was.
just because the only thing around it was okay. So in terms of Ramsdale and Saka, there was a lot of shouts around Ramsdale maybe not being good enough, being like, oh,
Yeah.
question mark. Because of that question mark, and he's done really well for Arsenal, it's kind of elevated how we're perceiving him. But I don't think he still gets that shout just yet because he's coming into an Arsenal squad where we're getting players who we didn't think were going to perform are performing, so now they're player of the season. I just don't. That's not how I judge it.
I agree. I agree personally. Can we just clarify the criteria as well? Because I think that I'm sorry, we need to clarify the criteria because obviously there's a player and there's expectation, and if they end up doing this, then they have a shout. Personally, I don't agree with that because if a player is here and the ceiling's about here, because let's be honest, if you score 50 goals in a season, you're not going to tell man, all right, go score 60. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there's a reason why, and I hate to go back to Messi and Ronaldo winning back to back because what you're doing at the highest level to continually do it year after year, I don't care if someone comes along one day and gets 2/3 of what they do. And even though they were expected to get 5 goals and they've scored 25, if Ronaldo scored 40 goals, I'm giving it to Ronaldo because.
Well, I think for me, when it comes to player of the season, same as world player of the year, so the criteria is always interesting for me. And the criteria I tend to say is who has been the best player, not who is the best player. Because I'll use myself. If I have a better season than Lionel Messi 1 year, doesn't mean I'm a better footballer. Doesn't mean I'm better than him. It just means that year I was. And I feel sometimes when I've seen the Ballon d'Or vote, they're just giving it to who, but Messi is still the best. We know Joe Bloggs has been better than him this year, but Messi is still the best, so we give it to him anyway.
Yeah,
that for me isn't what it should be for. It should be not even pound for pound, literally who has been the best football player in the Premier League this year. And then your criteria down to you. You might base it all on stats. Some might do eye test and stats. Some might do stats and trophies. Some might do eye test and trophies.
Whether they're a nice guy
plays a part. But for
connects
me,
with the fans.
For me, like I look at Saka and I think Saka's one of them players who has a shout for it. I just don't think he's done enough because again, I look at it this way, and we haven't got onto this. We haven't got onto this guy yet, and we will. But Mo Salah. When I look at Mo Salah's been pretty quiet since he come back from AFCON, can't deny. But the level of performance from him, I feel like if you are going to be the player of the season, you have got to outperform Mo Salah. And I'm not just talking the goals, it's the match-winning performances, it's everything else that comes with it. Mo Salah has been the standout individual for many, many people, and Saka has been great. But to suggest that he's been better than Mo Salah this year, I mean, even you, to suggest that Allison has been better than Mo Salah this year.
I'll come back to you.
You don't need to come back to me.
I'll come back to you.
I think you're a Philistine of football. It's a nonsense that he has been a better player overall.
Performances-wise, yes.
But he hasn't.
He has.
He hasn't.
He has.
He hasn't.
He has.
Nah.
I'm looking at it from a consistency point of view. Like, player of the season is good to have a great, incredible 2 or 3 months, but I rate someone who's had a bunch of brilliant performances within certain games this season, but been consistent throughout the whole season. For me, putting off those about 5 or 6 or even 7 match-winning performances in a season, but being consistent, having consistent 8 out of 10 performances throughout the whole season. And that's for me why I picked Allison over Mohamed Salah, because the reason why I picked just because of that period after 2022, because like Mons can agree, Salah, even though he's got the goals and assists, the performances, it's just not been at the standard of what we expect of a world-class player. It just hasn't. But Allison, comparably, 2022, he's been our best player, in my opinion.
I think Fabinho's been our best player, in my opinion. But I hear what you mean. I think, yeah. So honorable mention to Fabinho. I think he hasn't dropped his standards not once this season. However, it still doesn't amount to Mr. Salah. It just doesn't, because as Terry said, has there been anyone close to outperforming Mo Salah this season? No. Salah can go on to have another 6 bad games. No one's near him.
Yeah, no,
I wouldn't say that.
GA-wise.
I wouldn't say
it's
that.
not. No. And remember, yeah, you can say GA wise, but the majority of the GAs, and Salah has not stat padded this season through just stat padding for
Against that Burnley.
Yeah, no, he's been doing it against everyone. I agree with that.
Everyone, all round game, passing, hold up play, dribbling. He's had it all this season. Of course, there's been a drop off, and again, when massive players have a drop off, it's under a lens, and people are going to point it out, and he's going to get scrutinized for it, and rightly so. He should get scrutinized for it. However, if he can get scrutinized, but scrutinizing to a certain point, because until I see someone creep up on Salah.
I don't think anyone holds a candle to Salah in that Liverpool squad, personally.
Yeah, you got to remember.
I hear what you're saying about Allison.
People are coming and going. Firmino has dropped off. Mane has dropped off. Diaz has come in, but there's no one. No one can consistently do what this man is doing.
And do you know what's disrespectful about GA? And again, I feel like people attacking GA, the same as people attacking penalty goals, only started when a certain Portuguese player joined the Premier League. I have never seen someone that is scoring and assisting goals at the exact same rate as Thierry Henry. I've never seen it played down as a nothing part of the game until Bruno came in and started doing it. And now
it was fine when Lampard did it.
The reason why I say this is I have listened to Brian Clough, Johan Cruyff, Sir Alex Ferguson. I'm just naming greats, right through to nearly every single football coach I had, every football pundit I've ever spoken to, all say the same thing. The hardest thing in football to do is score goals.
100%.
They say it's harder than passing, harder than defending, harder than goalkeeping, harder than running. The hardest thing to do is to put the ball in the back of the net. It's why strikers, through the history of football, have invariably been the highest paid, the most famous in teams, the stars of the teams, the highest transfer fees, the most pressure is all on the attacker. So when you have a player like Salah scoring consistently, winning games consistently, that is harder than dictating play in the middle of the park. As kids, when you grow up, the better football players, we didn't do it in England so much when I was younger. It was the fast kids went at the wings, the big kids went at the back or up front. But when you actually look at countries that structure football properly, and England has started to do that in the last 10 years, why we've got more techie players now than we used to. The better the player, the further up the field they played. And if KDB's footballing, if KDB was a cold stone finisher, he would have been developed into an attacker striker, rather than a midfielder. If you are good at finishing, you are put in that is the star position of every team, because it's the hardest thing in the world to do. And listen, Zidane, all these players, Zidane's and Ronaldinho's and all these guys, their footballing ability and ability to dribble and everything else, right, is out of this world. But a cold stone killer in front of goal is more valuable, because without those goals at the end, you don't win the games, you don't win the trophies. And forget how something looks for a moment, because that is very important. And if you've got the eye test and you've got them goals and assists, i.e. Thierry Henry, you become goated. You know, Messi, the reason he is where he is because of that. They even go to some old
Ronaldo.
Suarez has it. We don't mention him on the terrace of what he did. But you think about...
could you say Salah? Could you say Salah could get there?
Salah could. Maradona doesn't get credit for how many goals and assists he had in his career up there. And I've said this before about Mo Salah. If Mo Salah continues in this vein for another 2.5, 3 years, he is in the Premier League GOAT conversation, because I don't buy this. He doesn't have. I know what people do with Salah. They say he doesn't pass the eye test because it's throwing in that, planting that seed now to use it in 3 or 4 years' time. Because if Liverpool win 2 or 3 more major trophies with him, he keeps scoring and assisting at this rate, he goes into the conversation of being the Premier League's GOAT. He has to.
Can I say one statement that I think this is the kind of general consensus of what rival fans kind of think this is? So, Diogo Jota.
Chelsea fans, you mean?
Sorry, yeah, Chelsea fans. More likely Chelsea fans.
Yeah.
Diogo Jota is what they think most. Diogo Jota is what Chelsea fans think Mo Salah is.
What do you mean by that?
Diogo Jota is a goal scorer. He doesn't
Yeah.
offer much else.
No. Salah offers a lot still.
Yeah.
But that's what Chelsea fans. That's what
when
that's
Salah is spoken about.
that's what
Yeah.
eye test merchants.
It's just
say.
downplaying it. You know?
Yeah,
What-
because
what-
at the end of the
yeah.
day, Salah because Salah has a certain play style when he doesn't look as slick as Neymar, or he's not as tidy as Messi. People think all of a sudden his dribbling is not that great. His first touch is not that great. All this stuff is mediocre. He excels in goal scoring. His output is so high that people just assume everything else is mediocre. Everything else is actually very, very good.
It's just not the level
It's
of goal
just
scoring.
not
Yeah,
the
it's just
level of his goal scoring because
Yeah.
the level. If his level of goal scoring was his level of dribbling and his level of passing and his level of strength and
Be the best player on the
durability, he'd be better than Maradona. He'd be better than Messi.
Yeah.
He'd be better than Ronaldinho.
People-
what you want?
But do you know? But Mon, do you know what's funny? People rated Mo Salah when he was at Roma, when he didn't have the output as he has at Liverpool. He said he was taking on people, he was dribbling past man, he was doing all this. And I think you're onto something when you're saying because of his output, it's being so high, being up like the 0.1% percentile. I think that's why people just want to hate on him because he is so good at goal scoring. They're like, oh,
Is it like the
what
Steph-
else?
Is
Like,
it like
what
the
else
Steph
kind of
Curry
thing?
effect? The Steph
Yeah,
Curry
Steph
effect. When
Curry.
someone's so good at something,
Yeah, like
that
what else can you do now?
it's
Give me
almost
a new
like
trick.
all their other attributes just become almost forgotten about.
Yeah.
And I think that's
And that's
unfortunate.
why Salah edges it for me.
Edges it.
Clears-
Clears it.
Do you know what's really funny about it as well? Someone in the comments says Terry probably thinks that Salah is better than Ronaldinho, and this is where people start to confuse. This is where
More effective than Ronaldinho.
Let me just. We'll get-
I said
trying to leave you.
I said it.
One
I said
second.
it.
One second.
I said it.
One sec. Like the point I'm making is this: Ronaldinho. The reason that he's in GOAT conversations is he has 197 goals and 163 assists. So getting towards 400 goal contributions in just over 500 games. None of the GOAT attackers have bad outputs. This is what you're not listening to. This is where the eye test merchants kill themselves over and over again. Ronaldinho's numbers are elite. They are out of this world because he is one of those players that we are talking about. He did the hardest thing was scoring the goals. The hardest thing was creating the goals. The dribbles and the skills, football freestylers can do those things.
Yeah.
The hardest thing in football is using those skills as an attacker, and then at the end of that skill, you set the goal up or score the goal. If you're doing the skill and you're scoring the goal at the end, you move into that GOAT conversation. So people that say, do I think Salah is better than Ronaldinho?
No.
Not technically as a footballer, absolutely not. And right now, not even in terms of his overall career, he doesn't touch him. But if Mo Salah continues in this vein for 3, 4, 5 more years, he goes into that conversation.
I mean, one or two more years. Because Ronaldinho's stint was very short. That's what people. It was very, very short. And Salah,
2002 to 2009.
yeah,
probably,
it was quite a short stint. And even at
Very.
the end of the stint, he became more of a playmaker than a goal scorer. And with Salah, if
I
this
just feel
output
like-
continues, I'm talking about effectiveness. I'm not talking about a better player. I will never hold anyone anywhere near Ronaldinho in terms of a player. But in terms of effectiveness and output, you know what I'm saying? Because there were times where Salah had, I think it was about, he'd played about 130 games and had about 124, something like that, GA. Like,
Well, the thing is,
that's
though,
ridiculous.
but this is the question. When people say who's the better footballer, you have to say, well, what are you talking about? Are you talking about actually impacting and winning games? Or are you talking about how they look and how they make you feel?
Yeah.
Or are you talking about both? Because the irony in it is, like, we have Lee Gunner on quite a bit, and he always says, well, the aim of elite level sports is winning football matches. But then he doesn't rate a Ronaldo as in the top 50 players of all time because he just scores goals and doesn't do all the flamboyant stuff. And it's like, but he wins more games than any of nearly any of.
Wait,
like he's
Bad shout.
so it's
Yeah,
like
that's a very bad
but break it down. Forget the top 50 thing. If elite football is only about winning, how can you discount people that score the goals to win the games that gives you the trophies that you say elite level is about? If it was all just about how it looks, then we wouldn't celebrate winning the trophies as being the most important thing.
Thank you.
And this is the crazy thing about stats. I looked at it here at Barcelona when I would think that Ronaldinho was at his best. 71 assists and 94 goals in 200 games. Right. So almost not close to 100% ratio.
Yeah.
In the 90s, the point is, none of these players, if you look all the Gerd Müllers of this world, the Lewandowskis, the Messis, the Ronaldos, the more model. You know, Salah's moved into that echelon.
Henry.
These people are moving at a rate where they're scoring and impacting games at like 80% plus. And that's because they have both two things. They are technically brilliant footballers and they do the hardest thing, which is score and create the goals. Definitely. That's why they're in the GOAT conversations. And eye test merchants have got to drop this nonsense that goals don't mean it. And I know why eye test merchants say goals and assists don't mean too much. It's a way of protecting their favorite player against 2 or 3 rivals that have outscored them by a long way. That's all it is. It's a very, very weak argument. It is.
Don't you think that GA tax, I'm going to call it, don't you think GA tax, I think, should be used for more 1/2 season wonders? I think once you start doing it, because even Harry Kane, let's be honest, say what you want to say about Harry Kane, he was called a GA merchant, penalty merchant, Harry, what was it? Penalty Kane, what they used to call him? Harry Claim. It took him a good 4 years of 30 plus goals for man to start giving him his.
And even people still doubt him.
No. I can't. As a Tottenham, I hate Tottenham, innit? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But as an Arsenal fan, Kane and Son, I have to give it to them. Obviously, Son's not on Kane's level, but Kane and Son, they're 2 top class players. You know what I'm saying? And they've shown it for a decent, at least 4 seasons now. Yeah. It's been about 4 seasons. Them 2 have literally had Tottenham on their back. Yeah. So I can't.
Do you know what's funny? I test merchants so I saw this with Harry Kane and especially Lewandowski as well. When they see Harry Kane or Lewandowski ping a ball onto the other side of the pitch, they're like, whoa, I've never seen this Lewandowski before. No, because you've had this tinted glasses of Lewandowski being a Bundesliga merchant and saying, oh, he's just there to tap in goals. No, he's not. He's more than that. Harry Kane, the same thing. You thought he was a tapping merchant, a penalty merchant. No, he does more than that. It's because they have these tinted glasses saying that, oh, they're all about GA and everything. They don't see the actual footballer that they are. I think it's as simple as that.
I think a lot of football fans only see what they want to see.
Of course. The
eye of the beholder.
Yeah. You know, that's why your Suarez comment came out, literally.
What are you talking about? You were saying something. Suarez has the 3rd most assists of all time. He's like 7 behind Ronaldo.
Yeah. Look, Suarez, we know, is a great football player. Look, I think it's one of these things, I'll tell you a thing about football fans being fickle this week. All I've seen from every rival of Man United in the past 5 years, how about Pogba is. Now there's links of City and Chelsea looking at him. Suddenly all these Chelsea fans are like, oh, can you imagine the link up? Can you imagine and you know what I mean? I remember when Martial, when he was rated, was looking like he was going to leave. Liverpool and Arsenal fans were like, suddenly, oh, you know what? Maybe
I would have taken it.
Not me.
I would have taken it.
I always showed you. Now, guys, look, we've had some super chats come in that we were waiting as we were having that discussion. So, big news here. First one here says, Ram is talking rubbish.
Of course.
Ali cost Liverpool 4 games in the first half of the season. West Ham was one of those games. Matip should be the only one on the list. So let me just, not going to address these because I've got to do the super chat. I have to do the super chat because it changes the table. It changes the leaderboard. So that puts Matip, as we said there, and I need to get this updated on my screen, onto £13, okay, which puts him into 3rd place. The reason that puts him into 2nd place is because somebody came in with a massive £17 to put Cancelo as the player of the year. They've also put £9 on Mahrez being the player of the year, and they've just thrown in another £9 for Bernardo Silva and KDB.
So he's a City fan. We get it now.
So Bernardo Silva's
that's where the money's coming from.
One sec. So Bernardo Silva's going to move up into 3rd place. Rudiger goes down into 4th. Jota into 5th. Jota goes into 4th because of that. And everybody else, so Saka, Allison, Odegaard, Silva, and Mo Salah sit down in the last place as it stands right now. Diogo Jota's been put in there. One second, guys. Diogo Jota has been put in. Terry, you guys are disrespecting the greatest Portuguese player in the Premier League right now. Add my boy, Diogo Jota.
Get out of here.
Who's now been put into the mix.
The best Portuguese striker in the Premier League.
He's been put in now as well. Shut it, lad in the Porsche. Salah is the best. I think he's talking to you. Lampard is not better than Iniesta, though, but no one said that he is. See, again, but do you know what's interesting about that? Iniesta's role wasn't to be a goal scorer or a creator. So comparing Lampard's goals and goals versus a player whose job isn't to do that is mental. It's like Michael Carrick's job wasn't to score goals. So when you compare him to, his job was to dictate play, control the tempo, be the cartilage between the attack and defense. You judge him on that. But if Michael Carrick was an elite goal-scoring finisher, he would have been put further up the pitch and would have found somebody else to do that role. So it's different jobs for different people. But they're
Of course it is.
exactly. But that's as it stands right now. There's another comment here. Oh, we've already had that one. We've already shared that one there. So Cancelo is currently top. Cancelo is currently top of the tables as it stands right now to be player of the year. And just to let you all know in the comment section, people, there is 5 minutes of the show to go.
I have a bone to pick. Just it's quick. So let me get this straight. João Cancelo. I'm looking at you lot in the eye right now. João Cancelo. Yeah.
Big them up for that one still.
No. Not big them up. Because did you guys know that João Cancelo has been dribbled past more times than Trent? Why has that not been spoken about?
Boom.
And why has Trent not been spoken about? Let me know. Let me know. No.
Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart.
Let me know. Now, let him get up. Let me know. Because at the end of the day, Trent has not been mentioned not once.
That's true.
By far the best right back in the league. Most assists. Doing what he does week in, week out. You and then you talk about his defending. He fixes up with his defending. João Cancelo, yes, amazing, phenomenal this season. But no one talks about this man's defending. But again, Trent Alexander-Arnold is Scouse. He plays for Liverpool. So again, the lens is different. This man has been dribbled past more times than Trent, and people talk about Cancelo like he's the complete wing back. Get a grip. I'm sorry.
Say it again, Mons.
Yeah. I mean, look, this Man City fan is backing his player. He's put his money where his mouth is tonight. Cancelo is currently top of the chart. This is a fan-led.
I want Cancelo to win it now. Go for it.
Trust.
Mo
But do you know
Salah's
what?
in fifth here. Mo
You lot just
Salah is
love
in
seeing
fifth.
I'm
You hear that?
slighted by Trent, you know. I don't know.
Trust.
I'm one of those fans that you're just talking about.
So is Trent not?
He's not. I would.
So why is Trent not involved in this argument?
Because
I think he's a phenomenal player.
I feel like Trent's
He's
just a
patterned up the one.
midfielder.
He's
I don't-
patterned
I
up the one thing that he's been scrutinized for.
I don't think he's.
Has he
I don't think
patterned
he's
it
that
up?
Great defensively.
Has he
though.
patterned it up?
I don't think he.
Be
is.
honest.
He pat.
So, as in, like,
not
top-
like
Is
he's
that
like,
his best
This is
attribute?
it,
His
like-
defending?
like
He hasn't
not
really
like,
stepped
he's
it
not
up.
like,
His best
he's not
attribute.
like
You know
I'm
what Trent
asking you,
brings?
is defending?
What Trent brings, he's unplayable.
I'm not saying that aspect.
Will Salah's shooting will ever be as good as his passing?
I just personally.
Sorry. Will his passing ever be as good as his shooting? Because that's what you're asking me right now.
I personally think that his defending needs to be much better.
he.
I don't think it is better. I don't think it's better.
I don't think.
No,
I don't think
Yes, I'm
it's.
saying
Yeah,
it.
I don't
I'm
think it's this
saying
season.
it.
Yeah,
I'm
no, I don't
saying
think
it.
so.
I'm saying it.
I don't think so.
I'm saying it.
He's not. We're not saying that
He's
he's
a
like
world-class-
Maldini. We're not like
world-class
saying he's Maldini, but no, he's not better.
I agree.
Matty Cash is better than Reece James. I'm saying it right now, but that's by the
he's
by.
fine.
You man are
That's
saying
by
this
the
because
by.
he's
That's by the by.
because he's
Nah.
stocky and allow it, man. Trent has been defensively very good. Defensively, he's been very good. Name a Trent stinker defensively. Name one.
Wouldn't say a stinker, but
Wouldn't say a
if we're talking
stinker.
about fine margins, I don't think
No.
he gets there.
So you said he hasn't been better.
Trent
I
has
don't-
made
as in defensively.
multiple game-winning tackles this season. Trent's defending has been I think the last time I saw Trent get roasted properly was obviously the Martinelli gave him a hard time, especially in that first
Very
half.
hard.
But
time.
he's still putting some good challenges as well.
Oh, no,
And you got
yeah.
injured
So
after
would
that.
he
Remember
be
that.
starting right back?
No, he ain't injured. Skullduggery, he will play him when he comes back after this.
Saying that,
Would
saying
Skullduggery
that.
of football.
Trent be England starting right back then for you?
There's
Yes.
nothing to do, but
No, I'm
that's
just asking-
because
I'm just
that's
asking you.
for me it would be, but that's Gareth South because I think Trent to Kane goal. That's what I think. But at the end of the day, that's Gareth Southgate's preference. And listen, Gareth Southgate's preference. Tomori's not in this. So look at the quality of England centre backs. Tomori is not in that,
And Mings is there.
and Mings is there. So we
This
can't
guy's-
talk about.
I just need to say very quickly, people, to jump. We had a £5 donation. Matip goes back to number one in front of Cancelo.
Bless up,
In
man.
front of Cancelo. There's another one here. Trent Alexander-Arnold is overrated. Walker and Cancelo are clear.
Sure.
So that's another
Right.
£9 on the Cancelo, pushing him onto £26
Hey, Cancelo.
with 1 minute to go. So
Come on,
Hey,
Cancelo. Come on, Cancelo. Come on, Cancelo. Come on.
£9.
Get my
£10
phone. So
on-
I need to super chat. Get my phone. Get my
There's a
phone. Get my
minute
phone.
to
Get my
go,
phone.
people.
That's my
Do not,
phone.
do
minute
not
to
give
go.
him his phone. Do not
my
give him
phone.
his phone. You're not allowed to play.
There we go.
The
Cancelo
fans are
is top.
speaking.
Man City fans have backed their players
If it was
tonight.
Trent Cowell, Trent
Oh,
Cowell,
Ollie here with £20 for Matip.
What the hell?
Listen, I told you. Come on.
Where's that Man City? Come back.
You robbed the 8 and you're 12 for Man City. You robbed the 8.
Just because they Cancelo chat.
Didn't Martinelli roast up Cancelo as well? Roasted him up.
Not roasted him. Not like Trent got roasted. No, not like Trent got roasted. Trent held a different roasting. Trent got
Another £5 for Matip. Yeah.
Oh, he's got it now.
25 to take him off.
He's got it.
To take him off.
I want some. No, some.
Oh my God! £45 for Cancelo.
We said 25 seconds kick.
VAR, no, that was past the minute. VAR, have a look at that. Earpiece.
Oh, we done it.
How much are you lot earning to be putting this on Cancelo? Oh my God!
My man put like a one on Cancelo.
Yo,
Cancelo's been worse than Trent defensively this season anyway.
The fans have spoken.
Sorry.
The fans have spoken.
The fans have spoke.
We gotta respect the.
They have
Super chat.
spoken
You said
tonight.
Salah yourself.
My agenda has changed.
Oh, your agenda's changed.
I was like, I'm there. I'll come out there.
There we. Oh, hang on. And
No, wait, hang on.
Someone put 50 on Allison.
That's not enough, surely.
Well, no, because I mean the total. I'm just adding it up here on a Cancelo is this. Sorry, 17 of 26 plus the 44, which makes it 70.
Yeah.
70. You can't touch him for that, but it puts him into second place. It puts him into second place there, which we'll still do for now.
They can have.
There was also some more that came through as well. To hear a big Chelsea fan put in £20 for Reece James, who I will add before we end the show and put him on there. £10, get Trent on the top. He can't go top for that, but that does put Trent into fourth place with Reece James in third place. I'm going to sort it all out now so we get it done at the end. But the Football Terrace viewers, you never cease to amaze me. Thank you for the donations to the Terrace on that tonight. We will get that updated for you. Someone here says...
Gosh. Twerking for City. You would have thought you guys. Twerking for City. You would have thought you didn't get robbed at the Etihad.
I wanted someone to win. That was it here. I'm here for the fans.
I get it. The City's second 11, isn't it?
No, look. Don't hate.
Don't hate. Just don't hate. You guys have
come on, man. One little prem and everyone's, oh my gosh.
We got the big ears as well, yeah? The big ears. Have you seen big ears?
I got the gold prem.
No. It's a gold thing that.
Have you got it?
I said this to Troops. And Troops, if you're watching, I said this to you too.
Gold
it's a little
spray paint.
souvenir. It's a souvenir. When you win the Prem, it doesn't say Invincibles, doesn't say Centurions, doesn't say either of them.
You basically vandalized the Premier League. That's what you did.
You just made up graffiti.
Because no one's done it, they downplay it.
Has anyone won the Premier League as far as Liverpool?
No
one's done it.
Do you know what I would say about the thing? I didn't realise this about the Golden Trophy, that Arsenal got that for themselves. They weren't awarded it by the Prem, they made it themselves.
You literally vandalised it.
I thought the Premier League gave it to them. When I heard they made it for themselves, I sort of felt like...
Wait. That can't be true.
It's word of mouth.
That can't be true.
I read it.
No, that can't be true.
Someone verify it.
Arsene Wenger received you know the little thing, the little casket things you get?
Yeah.
He received a small
Did
Premier League
Arsenal make the golden...
Do you know what?
Guys, 1 second. Let me just give you. After Arsenal became the only team to do the Premier League commissioned, the Premier League commissioned a unique gold trophy.
Sit back down.
They commissioned it. That's what it says. It says that on Wikipedia, though.
Of course you did that.
They says he's giving us. I'll have to. Again, I only read that. I only read that they made it themselves.
Trying to start fights in here.
I did say I read it. I didn't say it was 100% true.
He was the fastest to win the Premier League, and that's never been done before.
Wait. Have you ever won a treble?
No.
Exactly.
Nor
so
have
stop.
you.
Yeah, we have.
Oh, we have 84.
No,
84.
Have you ever change it
84.
again? Have you ever won the treble?
No. I spot you for that.
So sit down.
No.
So sit
That's
down.
fine.
No, but Terry,
Boss, I'll give
Terry,
you that
the
one.
big teams, the big boys
Only because
have
we're
won
going
a
to record
treble.
this year.
Yeah.
We
Listen,
won 2
I've got to add
actually.
these
2001 as well.
Oh, that was a knacker treble.
What treble was that?
Don't worry. It's 3 trophies, but we don't need to
No,
say
no,
which trophies.
you told me them earlier. I think you should. let
So
everyone
what's
know.
it? Community,
Okay.
FA Cup, and
Wait.
There we go, guys. We've got the final updated thing as we got it there. So sorry, I haven't changed it right. Cancelo into number 1, Matip second. Reece James and Trent ended up 3rd and 4th in this. Sadly, no Liverpool fans. They threw that money at Matip. None of them back Mo Salah.
do you know what? I feel like because he was the easy option,
Yeah, exactly.
everyone kind of wanted to
People
be
were trying to
different.
think outside the box. Like, why?
Yeah, because you just don't want to give it to
That's
the
why
guy
you were
that-
saying Salah because you wanted to. I mean, Saka because you wanted to be
Yeah, so,
outside the box.
No,
different,
no,
bro.
I
no.
Someone
Someone
mean
that's doing-
Salah, not Saka. Like you didn't just.
No, I
get it.
meant Saka.
Oh, we are weird.
Nah, Mons, but it just shows that our players will just perform this season, man. Like,
Yeah.
Allison.
No, not one. I mean, I don't think there is even a United player that can even get a
I
shot.
wouldn't embarrass
That's a low
myself. I wouldn't embarrass.
That's
it's
a
not-
low
It
blow.
ain't.
Listen, Saka got a shout.
Wait,
so
I would
I'm
not
good with
embarrass
that.
myself.
Trust.
I would never.
Some honourable mentions as well. We got a couple honourable
Bro, I'd
mentions.
never
I'll take
embarrass
it.
myself by
That's a
putting a
low.
Man United player on it. There's no doubt.
Probably
about
the
it
closest
whatsoever.
player.
Has Sancho
Fred.
got more goals in the Premier League against top 6 sides than Saka?
We scored against
Chelsea,
and City
Tottenham.
and Tottenham. Oh, so that's it. All 3 against Tottenham. Oh wow, I didn't even look at that. That's
Well,
how-
would you look at that?
Big game player.
Sancho has more goals against top 6 sides than Bukayo Saka.
That's great. But Sancho
Would you
also
look at that?
Sancho also has.
But guys, listen.
At one point, Allison, how much here?
It's been an absolute great show. I want to say a big thank you to everyone that's donated. As we've said before on these ranking shows, it's a little bit of fun. Everyone that does it knows they're supporting the Football Terrace and our endeavours moving forward. It's just a super chat. It's what they are. So thank you very, very much indeed. To my panel, thank you very much for coming on tonight and
pleasure,
helping. We've got a lot of these we recorded tonight as well. We've got some big ones of these dropping in the next 24 to 48 hours. So keep your eyes out on the channel. Before you leave, smash the like and the share button. But until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see